Sim gives him a 6. I gave him a 5. A bit disappointing with both goals that we conceded. I thought the first one, he just didn't move, and I just didn't understand why. The second one, I still don't think he's going to save it, but like his positioning is just completely all wrong for the corner. He's like standing behind his line, which I just didn't understand. And again, like I think on the ball, he was just panicking in possession a bit and just hitting it really long and just battering up the pitch, which I didn't really understand too much. So, yeah, not the greatest display from Vic, but I don't put him as pure fault for any of the goals that we scored.
Yeah, I don't really think he should be saving both. But also, I don't think he comes away with much credit with either. So, and though the thing is, he didn't have another save to make other in the game. Those are the only saves he had to make. So, not a great day from him. But yeah, I'm not going to judge him too harshly. I think the goal, the second goal, probably looks more his fault than actually is his fault. But I agree. You know, why is he standing behind the lines? A bit peculiar. And why is he not diving for the first goal? But I think it's harsh to call either of them his fault.
Yeah. Pedro Porro up next. Falls all round for Pedro. I don't know what's going on with Pedro at this moment in time. He had a really good display against Copenhagen, but sandwiched in between two really bad displays. And his crossing, his passing, his ball playing was completely off on the day. Me personally, I think he needs to come out of the team for a little bit, or at least a game or two. And for the North London derby, I would generally play Spence and Udogie at fullback. I just don't think he's playing well enough.
I think at the moment, Porro, it's like one good game, one bad game at the moment. He's quite a bit inconsistent. He's obviously the only consistent thing about him at the moment is he's available for every game and he's playing every game. But I think, I agree that he's not playing that well in some games and then he is playing well in the other games. It's like very up and down. But the thing is, he's playing so much. I agree with you. Like, he's playing way too much, really. Every game he plays, he barely gets a rest. And I think the North London derby could be a good game for him to get a rest because I think they're very physical and you add a bit of physicality with Spence in there with the Udogie, that could be the way forward. But then again, I don't know if he doesn't play 2 games for Spain, maybe he could come into it with a bit more of a rest, so it could be a better Porro. But yeah, he was sloppy. He had 12 crosses on the day and only one successful one. His passing just wasn't on it, and I think he was the key in that game to Frank's plan, and it just didn't work. I think that was a big reason why Frank's plan didn't work in that first half.
Cristian Romero up next. Sim gives him a 7. I gave him a 6. Got that booking in the first half, and after that he actually made a few questionable challenges after that, and I was thinking, you know what, Romero needs to calm down here because he's going to get himself sent off. Luckily that didn't happen, and I think in the second half he towed the line pretty well and got himself back at a level head. But in that first half it was actually a dangerous situation for him because he was you could see the fire kind of blazing over a little bit. But look, I thought he handled himself okay. I don't think it was as strong a performance that he has put in recent weeks, but yeah, look, Man United barely hurt us and he played well at the back, but I just felt like he was on borderline of getting sent off yesterday.
Yeah, he was definitely. There was one moment he was on, as you say, it was on the yellow, then he comes like flying into a challenge. You're like, oh my God, is he about to get sent off? But luckily he didn't make that much contact with the player. There was definitely a moment where it looked like, okay, he needs to calm down. But he did, and I think overall he had a pretty decent game. I think on the ball, he had so much value. Some of his passing in between the lines was phenomenal. Unlucky not to score on the day as well with a good attempt with the back heel. I think, he just makes such a difference when he's on the pitch.
Micky van der Ven up next. 7s all round for Micky. There was good and bad, mostly good in there from Micky. I thought defensively, he handled himself pretty well. The one thing, he kept trying to dribble it out from the back, and obviously we saw the goal on midweek, but he did lose the ball on a few occasions, and one of them was quite dangerous. But he made that basically game-saving challenge on Sesko, didn't he? I mean, that was Ledley King-esque on Arjen Robben. Literally came out of nowhere and won the ball so cleanly. If he gets that wrong, that's a penalty, and probably he's getting sent off as well. So, unbelievable challenge from Micky.
Yeah, phenomenal. And it looked like, as you said, that was a game-winning moment. Everything fell into place, it seemed, at that moment for Tottenham, but didn't quite happen for us in the end. Threatened to potentially go on some long runs, but also didn't quite pan out in the same way it did against Copenhagen. But another really strong game from him, I felt overall. It was really, really good.
Yeah, Jed Spence up next. 5s all round for Jed. I think when he's on the left, I think it's becoming so clear that he just hurts us more than he helps us on the left-hand side. When he's going forward, there was so many occasions when he gets into a good position and just checks back and the moves kind of died down by then. I thought he was a lot better when he moved over to the right-hand side from that aspect. He was able to get to the byline, get some crosses in, genuinely look dangerous and a threat going forward. I just feel like there's this thing starting to creep into Jed Spence's game. I think it's been happening for a while now, where he's just making these stupid decisions from a defensive standpoint, and it's getting us into trouble with just like lazy kicks out, and it's just going straight to the opposition.
Yeah, and also the first goal, could he have done a bit better to close Diallo down? He seemed to just like wave a lazy leg at it instead of actually like going towards him. So yeah, I agree with you. I feel like sometimes with Jed, because he's like so confident in himself to defend situations, he doesn't think about them. He just relies on his physical capabilities. And because he's so physical, it's good enough for most situations not to think about just, hold up a player, go at them and make the tackle. But sometimes he has to use his head a bit more, and that gets him in trouble. But I think the main reason I've given him a 5 is I agree with you. Just going forward, it really hampers us. I mean, Udogie, within, I think, 30 seconds of being on the pitch, got into the box and got a cutback and won a corner. Like, Spence didn't do that once the whole time he's on the left-hand side. And I don't know if at this point I even blame Spence for that anymore, because I think Frank must see that and he keeps playing him there. But the thing is, I also feel for Frank, because what's he supposed to do? Udogie can't play every minute of every game. He's also got, especially when we know he's an injury-prone player.
But the reality is, Frank said, like, as you said after the game, it was a tactical thing to play Spence there and not Udogie. So.
It's true. No, I agree with you. But as well, he's got to play Spence at some point, like at left back.
Yeah, but Spence has been playing every game at left back. Like, put Udogie in when, like, this was the first game for a while he could have started.
Yeah, I think. Well, he started on midweek, didn't he? And he's just come back from this knee problem. You got to be careful with him, as well. So, look, if it is, you're right. Frank said it was tactical, so I got to take him on his word for it, and that's obviously disappointing. But I just, in general, he has to play Spence there at some point, and we just know Spence does hurt our width when he's there. So I think we need to really invest. That's maybe one area we need to really invest in January left back.
Yeah. Joao Palhinha up next. 6s all round for Joao. Look, I mean, he keeps up his standards in terms of helping us in the midfield, win the ball back. I don't think he didn't have as much bite in his challenges this game than he has done in previous weeks, and it's just, it's a bit frustrating when you just see Joao Palhinha, not much intention to play the ball forward, albeit there were a couple of nice moments on the ball from Joao, and he had a nice shot in the second half, but it's just too few and far between in the game, and it's too much sideways and backwards.
Yeah, agreed. I think Bentancur obviously did a much better job getting the ball and progressing it forward. On Wednesday, he obviously came out the side, and Joao, look, we know what Joao gives you, and he always gives that 100%, that off the ball feistiness. But on the ball, it's difficult. And when you've got someone like Sarr next to you, who, yes, is a good forward, he can be a good forward-thinking player, but he's also not much of a passer. He's also a bit of a carrier. It led to Tottenham not really able to progress the ball from a passing point of view through the centre, so that was frustrating at times.
Pape Sarr, Sim gives him a 6. I gave him a 5. I got frustrated. Was it Sarr, wasn't it, that just smashed the ball into one of our centre-backs or something for one of the goals or a chance that Man United had? And I'm just thinking, what are you doing? But I don't know what's going on with Sarr. But I seem to be saying the same things every week, where he just ghosts out of games and then he just comes into it a bit in the second half. And I think it was more of the same, really.
Yeah. I think, it was a quiet game for him. I think he put himself about quite a bit, but I don't remember too much of him being able to progress the ball forwards. He had a few kind of moments getting near the box, but yeah, I think it was a fairly quiet game for him at the end of the day.
Yeah. Javi Simmons, Sim gives him a 6. I gave him a 7. I liked what I saw from Javi, to be honest. I thought he was forward-thinking. He was finding himself in good opportunities and good spaces. If anything was going to come from our good play, from open play, it was going to come through him. It was just unfortunate that none of the other players were on a similar wavelength to him, to be honest. The amount of times he found himself in space and he just had no one, no support, no one to pass to was just so frustrating on the day. But he did look like our most creative outlet on the day.
Yeah, and I think his struggles are not necessarily down to him. I think that's a big point of it at the moment. He's picking up the ball, and he's picking up the ball in areas not near anyone else. And I think you've seen points yesterday. He's starting counter-attack. He's bursting into space, and there's not a Tottenham player within 30 yards of him. How are you supposed to create anything? There's no one near you. It must be so frustrating for him. So I think he had a really good game within himself. Like he was doing stuff, but I think he was prevented from the team of really doing much, and he was prevented from creating anything. I think he had a bright game, and it ended up obviously leading to him being taken off, and there was a lot of boos. But yeah, it's must be so frustrating for Javi at the moment. He's trying to do stuff, but he's being prevented of actually, doing what he wants to, which is probably score and create goals.
Next up is Brennan Johnson. Sim gives him a 5. I gave him a 6. I thought the opening 20 minutes from Brennan, he looked really positive, and he was getting on the ball a lot. He was getting crosses in the box. Obviously, that one for Richarlison, where Richarlison's got to make some contact with it. He doesn't. I thought it was a nuisance for Man U in those first 20 minutes, but apart from that, he didn't really produce much, to be honest.
Yeah, there was that one moment where he threatened to burst inside, and he just overcooked the touch a bit much, went out for a goal. I was like, okay, that's good from Brendan. I want to see him trying those things. Rely on your speed. You're a fast player. You're quite physical as well. You can shrug off challenges if need be. So I want to see him do that, but he, again, it's too few and far between. I think Brendan is improving. I think he's going from me regularly giving 3s and 4s to now 5s and 6s. So that's better. He's getting more involved. But again, how many times did he have crosses in and it went out for a goal kick? It happened a couple of times.
Yeah.
And to be fair, he did have a good cross in for Rishi, who should have done better with a chance right at the beginning of the game. So he had one good cross, but is he enough of a threat to say, he played really well? No, it wasn't, unfortunately.
Next up is Richarlison. 5s all round for Richie, and I just felt so frustrated watching him yesterday, and I have been feeling like that pretty much for all of his performances since the first 3 games of the season, and he just doesn't offer much. He was on the left sometimes, he was through the middle sometimes, and every time the move just seemed to break down every time the ball came to him. But look, credit to him, because he was there and he made the difference when it counted to put Spurs 2-1 up. The little kind of slight touch which guided the ball into the back of the net, which you've got to give him credit for. But he's just not playing well at this moment in time, and we need more.
Yeah, look, he did get the goal, so it's rare I give her a player who scores who looked like to be a winner, and he's only getting a 5. But he was really frustrating, especially when he was on the left. He was really poor. Didn't really impact the game. I know what Frank's idea was: get him in the box, get some crosses into the back post, and nearly worked right at the beginning of the game. But unfortunately, that was really the only time it nearly worked. Other than that, it was few and far between. I think obviously he moved up front in the second half, and he was pretty much a non-event. Was quite anonymous, didn't really get involved in the game much, but good predatory instincts, good goal from him, and to be fair to him, 6 goal contributions in 6 starts. So from that point of view, you could say it's not a bad ratio. But we all have eyes, we can see how he's performing, and right now he's not performing very well, and he's cuts a very, very frustrating figure, but he's getting goals, I guess, ish.
Mwani up next. Him gives him a 4. I gave him a 5. Obviously only lasted 45 minutes. As it's come to light today, he did fracture his jaw with that head clash with Harry Maguire. I just thought he was pretty much non-existent throughout the first 45 minutes, and I do feel for him a little bit, because he did play quite a significant part of that first half with a fractured jaw, which obviously we didn't know until today, so that might have a reason to it. There was a couple of moments where he was pressing from the front, and he looked energetic, but that's about as far as it went.
Yeah, I think. What minute was the jaw thing?
I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure it was halfway through, or maybe he played at least 15 minutes with the...
Yeah, he was quite quiet, I think, even before that, but there was one moment he linked up with Brennan, didn't he, quite early on, but other than that, he didn't really get involved in the game. He was quite quiet, and then obviously I don't really blame him if he's playing with a fractured jaw. It must be very difficult. So.
Yeah, but in the first 20 minutes, I thought at times we were pressing really well, and I thought he was quite central to that.
Yeah, he looked quite bright, for moments, but didn't really do much.
No. And now we move on to the substitutes. Wilson Odobert, man of the match. He gets an 8 all round, and I thought this was his best display in a Spurs shirt. looked so threatening, so dangerous. Amad Diallo couldn't handle him when he went over to right wing back. Got the assist, obviously, for Richarlison's goal with the shot and then Richarlison nodded it in, and he was very central to the goal that we scored to level it up as well. Really nice play to find Udogie on the left-hand side, which obviously he crossed it in, and Mathis Tel scored. So I thought every time he got the ball, he looked really dangerous. There was a bit of a lull period in the game where, for about 15, 20 minutes, we didn't really see him much, but whenever he was asked to get on the ball and attack his fullback, I thought he did it, and he did it really well.
Yeah, brilliant stuff from Odobert. So good to see him in like a big Premier League game against good opposition. Come on, like looking to change the game and looking to make an impact. And I feel like too often in his Tottenham career, maybe it's because he's young and maybe because he's still learning is at a big club. He's kind of like felt like he's not the main man, and he felt like it's not his job to make the impact. That's for other people. He's there to look bright. But I felt like in this game he came on like, I'm actually gonna make the impact here. I'm going to take people on. I'm going to be the one creating chances. And it was great to see. And he was the main man, yeah. And he was beating players. It was almost like we started to look to him at points. It was like, okay, we get the ball to Udogie. He's creating at the moment. Brilliant involvement in the first goal to shrug off the United player, beat him, get out wide to Udogie. And look, great strike. And I don't think it was going in, but it was a great strike for the second goal as well. Like to get it off when there's a defender closing you down, and obviously Richarlison gets the nod in. Brilliant moment again, and really made a massive impact. And just looked so much more confident. He's looking sharper, looking stronger. I'm really happy for him, and it was a great. It was really great cameo from him second half.
Destiny Udogie, 7s all round for him. I thought he made a real positive impact when he came on as well. Just adds so much more than Jed Spence down that left-hand side. He stretches the play. He gets down that left-hand side. He gets the byline. He gets crosses in the box. Obviously, that's how the first goal comes. And yeah, he just makes us look so much more balanced when he's out on the left-hand side.
Yeah, he's just always there on the left-hand side. I was watching Spence quite closely, and I could really see that when Richarlison gets the ball, there's just a hesitancy from Spence to just go full pelt into that space that's vacated on the left-hand side. And I wonder it's because, even if he gets there, he's like not comfortable on his left foot and he doesn't want to swing it in, and he always have to cut in. Whereas Udogie, there is just no hesitation. Once Odobert's got the ball, he is going full pelt to overlap him and cover that space. And that makes such a big difference. It causes so much more unpredictability in the front line, and it makes us so much more balanced and so much more width on that side. And lo and behold, he got the assist for the equaliser as well, getting in that position and getting the cutback. So within a minute, I think, of him coming on, you could see the difference. So brilliant stuff from him.
Rodrigo Bentancur, 6s all round for Lolo. And straight away when he came on, you saw he got the ball and made a forward pass, and it kind of cut through the Manchester United midfield. I thought he looked a lot more forward thinking. He didn't do much in the game, and that's about it. But he just looks a bit more comfortable there than Joao Palhinha in terms of when Spurs want to play it forward.
Yeah, I think so. Again, I think our midfield does look better when Bentancur's there, to be fair. And I think he came on, and I did think that was probably one of our better spells of the game once he entered the pitch. So I do think we look a bit better with him. I'm not saying he did anything specifically incredible, but I just think he's so much more comfortable on the ball. He looks to play forward a lot better. So yeah, I think it was a decent cameo from him.
Mathis Tel, 7s all round for Mathis. Look, you've got to give the boy credit because, he got left out the Champions League squad. He's been out in the cold a little bit recently. He comes on with a really good attitude about him. He gets himself in the box. He creates space for himself in the box, and he puts the ball in the back of the net. Yes, it was a deflection, but don't take anything away from the move, because I thought it was absolutely brilliant from Mathis Tel. And he's just a bit of a live wire with his movement off the ball, which I noticed quite a lot. So I think Mathis Tel is going in the right direction, and he needs to keep doing the things that he's doing. Yeah,
and I thought as well when he came on, some of his pressing off the ball was quite good as well. And he added a bit more energy to the front line, and when we were kind of wavering at that point, added a bit of obviously presence in the box. And I think the goal, you got to give him a lot of credit, because that is very difficult to do. Ball cuts back, and he's got Mathis Tel behind him, and he's got to basically get that touch, get a bit of space, and swivel and shoot and score. That is not easy to do in a packed penalty box, but that is something Mathis Tel is very good at. creating a bit of separation to get the shot, and he's got a good strike on him. So yes, it was a deflection. I think it might have been going in anyway, but we'll never know. Look, and he got a bit of luck, but you earn your own luck, which he did. So credit to him, and really good cameo from him, and hopefully that continues to boost his confidence.
Thomas Frank up next. 6 all round for Thomas Frank. For me, got the team selection wrong. Udogie should have played at left back. Odobert should have played at left wing. And I thought, it culminated in us being really poor down that left-hand side with Richarlison, with Spence, where we had massive problems. He did correct it in the second half with Odobert coming on at half-time, Udogie coming on about 10 minutes or 15 minutes into the second half, which made us look a lot more better, a lot more threatening down that side. And I felt like we started the game with a lot better energy about us. We started to look forward a lot more, and we looked nowhere near as blunt as we looked in that Chelsea game. Look, it was not a great game, but any stretch in the imagination, it's a step forward, and he corrected his mistakes. And I just don't understand why he had to make that mistake in terms of the starting lineup, though. It just didn't make sense to me. But look, we should have won the game, in my opinion. I thought we were slightly the better team. When you go 2-1 up as well in the 91st minute, you just cannot let that slip. And I think he's got to look at the way we're defending set pieces, because there's no situation where Brennan Johnson should be on Matthias de Ligt. And it wasn't just for the goal that happened at the end. That was happening throughout the game in every defensive set piece. So he's got to look at that. He's got to look at why Odobert didn't start, why Udogie didn't start, and he needs to correct it, and he needs to keep moving forward.
Yeah, it's a difficult one how to judge him, because do you criticise him for getting the wrong lineup? But when it comes to his changes, is it about you give him credit for making changes that change the game? Udogie comes on, gets an assist. Tel comes on, gets a goal. Odobert comes on, gets an assist and involved in the first goal. So on the face of it, his subs change the games. He gets credit. But on the flip side, do you criticise him for having the wrong lineup in the first place and having to change it? So
I think it's a bit of both.
You can kind of look at it both ways. It's like he gets credit for changing it, but also gets criticism for having the wrong lineup in the first place. But I think you got to say, I thought in general the way he managed the game was pretty good. I thought obviously the changes came on and did affect the game and could have put us in a position to win the game. So that's really, really positive. But as you say, I thought the way we saw it out before the corner was terrible, and and obviously the way we defend that corner really frustrating. So. A bit of a mix for Thomas Frank on the day.
Yeah. All right, well, that is our player ratings for the 2-2 draw against Manchester United. Now it's time for